Are Empire Pistoliers any good? Pistoliers are so basic, they're often ignored or even scorned. Pistoliers are basic for a reason. They are fundamental to Empire of Man battlefield tactics. They are far from almighty, but they do a job, and they do it cheaply and valiantly. Both parts are equally important. Please like, subscribe, comment, and consider donating to my Ko-fi page. It's funny that I'm imparting Warhammer 1 wisdom here in 3, but that's the magic of Immortal Empires, huh? Empire Pistoliers have 60 models per unit on Ultra, with 4,560 HP spread between them. This is particularly flimsy. The models have 30 armor, which actually isn't paper. Leadership is 50, which is pretty miserable, and speed is 90, which is a nice, round number, and also quite impressively fast. That's a key feature of the unit, speed. Keep this in mind as we go. Melee attack is 20, with an attack interval of 5.1, which is really awful. In other words, they'll be picked apart in prolonged melee. This isn't a surprise. There is no splash damage with this old style of light cav. Melee defense is 14, which is of course very bad, and weapon strength is 24, divided between 21 base damage and 3 armor piercing, which makes them hit a little softer than Chaos Warhounds. And of course they attack slower, which is why Warhounds are one of my favorite units for annihilating Pistoliers. Of course, Warhounds don't have guns. Charge bonus is 20, which, considering the rest, is actually pretty good. In other words, the unit has value charging in. Mass is 500, which isn't a ton, but it's still 5 times that of a freestanding infantryman. But it is to say, unless hitting the back of a pretty low tier unit, the value in melee is only on the charge. But we'll work with that. Now, the guns! Ammunition is listed as 12, so they come with only 12 volleys out of the box. Range is 80, which isn't all that impressive. But, let's emphasize this. Pistoliers fire in a 360-degree arc. They can fire directly ahead, directly behind, 0 blind spots. Missile damage is listed as 33, with 13 base per projectile, 2 armor piercing. 2 shots per volley because they're dual wielding, and reload time of 9. So I said 12 volleys for a reason. 60 models, 120 bullets. Total accuracy is the standard 20, which means there is no special debuff like we're dealing with perma-drunk centaurs. Calibration distance is 60, which means that sitting at the far edge of the range of 80 meters makes your shots inaccurate. Ride-by shootings are risky, but more accurate. Calibration area is 1.6, so the spread is pretty tight, all things considered. Speaking of ride-by shootings, the Pistoliers have Vanguard deployment and fire whilst moving. It is here that I'll get deeper into how you use these units. Without cavalry like Pistoliers, an Empire army is desperately starved of speed. In a straight-up fight, there's no doubt the Pistoliers will have difficulty standing up to higher model count, higher hit points, infantry missile units, even down to Goblin Archers and Aura Boys. That's not really the point. Against those kinds of missile units, you're doing one of two things: hitting with a drive-by and darting away to minimize return fire damage, or charging in and relying on impact damage and charge bonus to take a toll, and then pulling out. Fast. Options against melee units are considerably better. Take a basic Orc Boys unit. You don't have to settle for firing at its front and letting 35% of your bullets get absorbed for free. You can go to the sides and back and get in free shots, far, far faster than the boys can chase you. If they turn, you've just peeled off a unit from the main battle line before the clash. If they don't turn, you keep shooting, and you're doing real damage. Much more damage in a given period of time than infantry missile units would. Of course, that's per model. Now, of course, even basic archers have more ammunition, but the key is, the maximum value of the Pistoliers' range ammunition can be reached at an earlier stage than that of the archers. Also, not every Pistolier is firing every time you're engaging. You're getting value with few 2-0 losses if you're doing it right, and if the opponent allows it. Yeah, ammunition counts for balance of power, but kills and damage add up. Getting your value out is important for a 500 gold unit. The bigger issue is how this works in tandem with your forces. It's extra simple if all you have are archers and crossbowmen, but let's say you have a mortar battery. Every time you slow the enemy down, you gain time for the mortar to do its work. If within crossbow range, the mortar does its job in conjunction with both the Pistoliers and the crossbowmen. Rather than have to attack loose formation archers, the Pistoliers can charge in and try to break or at least disrupt them, then run away, shooting as they leave. You're pulling attention in multiple directions. You, the human player, are stretching the battlefield and making the enemy's options worse, at least unless and until he manages to swat your Pistoliers like the pests they are. The more specialized the enemy gets, the better your Pistoliers are. If the enemy brought 2 mortar batteries too, slip the Pistoliers behind and devastate the crews with raking fire, then charge in and instantly get them off the mortars. Then it's just a matter of how you finish them off. After that, rush to the main fight and empty what's left of your ammo. After that, cycle charge into the rear to demoralize and damage enemy infantry. This works because the 360-degree firing arc keeps the pistols firing during attack, retreat, circling, any kind of maneuver you can dream up, unless you tell them not to. The power is in your hands. Okay, diversion done. What about those buffs? In the Lord skill tree red line, Pistoliers fall under Pistol Corps along with handgunners and archers. Rather than speed, they gain up to 20% extra ammunition and plus 8 missile strength. Sharpshooter gives rank 7 vets and above plus 12% missile strength, 10% reload time reduction, and 15% missile resistance, which, given the harassing role of Pistoliers, is just free damage resistance. It keeps you running and gunning just that much longer. In the tech tree, mass-produced small ammunition grants another plus 10% ammunition, volley fire adds 15% reload time reduction, and mounted weaponry further grants 5% missile resistance and 10% missile strength for Pistoliers and Outriders. So, do you math? That's potentially 30% more ammo, 30% extra missile strength, and 25% better reload time. That is bonkers. Now, I grant you're not starting from the greatest base stats, but XP chevrons make these guys better regardless. Also, the great weakness of the unit type is that it is only effective against light or, at best, medium armored opponents. They'll chip away at heavily armored knights, but that's not really their strength. No, what they excel at is ripping apart a low-tier front line from behind and wiping out those low-armor archer units. Jade Warriors with crossbows, not so much. But keep in mind, everything you just got for 500 gold a pop and marvel. Take care and have fun harassing your opponents to death. In battle, that's an accepted tactic.